much it means to an artist when a fan shows love. That love even could have saved the life of Van Gogh. 800 patents total, only one sold, but still considered the greatest. It's crazy how life unfolds. I've been blessed to sell a couple thousand records, been blessed to work with Mega, been blessed to be respected for the craft that I sacrificed so much for. Cause there are cats who sacrifice more than still end up at a shut door. Their handshake is much more than a handshake. Y'all are family, y'all are more than a fan base. The crowd shot we take is like a family portrait. The feeling on the stage is priceless, I adore it. Music's taking me around the globe. I made some friends round the way, worth more to me than gold. The money could be better, more people might like me, but we got love instead. See you Emerald Nights 3.
I don't do it for the luxury. Love is all I need. When the Lord decides to come for me, I love will come for me. I don't do it for the luxury. Love is all I need. When the Lord decides to come for me, I love will come for me.
I was still a teen when I heard Nas rhyme and knew we would at least crack top 5. Body bagging verses like he had mob ties. I was starry-eyed thinking I'd squandered all this time. Oh my God, what a sorry sight. Wasted potential that I chased with a pencil. Tracing a stencil of the pain that I've been through. Stain on your mental just ain't as eventful. Nothing can prepare you for the evil that friends do. If not for the love, I'd be lonely and worrisome. And ain't no glory in the never was journeyman. I used to call all of the rappers over 30 dumb till I got my biggest break. I was 31, 6 cents, Haley Joel in my Navy coat. Corpse in the mirror, so I chose to let the lady go. Back to Kia with a suitcase, a few tapes, and drove across the country and found a roommate. Yeah, started over, no pressure or due dates. Dreams get deferred, no discounts or group rates. Old friends get new babes and start to mutate. Don't screw face, show love before it's too
I
late.
don't do it for the luxury. Love is all I need. When the Lord decides to come for me, I love will come for me. I don't do it for the luxury. Love is all I need. When the Lord decides to come for me, I love will come for me.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time once again. It is Friday. Everybody tuning in to The Charge Live with your boy Bernie here. Again, giving you the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. And guys, you know what? It's a beautiful day. It's Friday. Well, maybe not so beautiful here in the greater Seattle area. It's a little cloudy. It's a little dark. But nevertheless, we are here talking some basketball, and we are going to be talking about probably one of the craziest stories in the NBA so far. The more interesting one, other than the James Harden news, there is some very interesting rumors kind of circulating the area, circulating the air about Jerry West actually being exposed by none other than John Wilkes in a voicemail to kind of say that there was that interaction between John Wilkes. If you guys don't know, yesterday the NBA was investigating a tampering charge with the LA Clippers and Kawhi Leonard, kind of talking about how there was a previous meeting being set up, and one person, I believe his name is John Wilkes, was asking for money, was suing actually Jerry West and the LA Clippers for about $2.5 million to get their money from Jerry West, because they did promise, or he did guarantee, that Kawhi Leonard would sign there. And now we kind of have the damning evidence. And let me go to Twitter really quick and kind of talk about that. So, but before we do, again, guys, just want to welcome you guys. It's Monday. Friday. Excuse me. It is Friday. But, just kind of want to wish you guys happy Friday. Hope everything's going well. And before we get started on our first story talking about Jerry West, please remember to hit that like button. Also remember to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, whether you're watching this in the live stream with my boy Sean out here. Remember, we are having an NCAA live special tomorrow at 9 a.m. talking the Iowa just the Iowa Hawks, I think, and the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Their games tips off tomorrow with Luke Garza going against Jalen Suggs and the rest of the Gonzaga crew. So check out for that as well. That'll be a fun watch. But like I said, guys, hit that like button. Also remember to hit that subscribe button. The more subscribers we have, the more likes we have. It guarantees us that the YouTube algorithm will like us and makes people want to actually enjoy the content. But before we do that, let me pull up this Jerry West voicemail, and we can kind of listen to it for ourselves and kind of indicate what is going on in this scenario. So let me, the Hawkeyes, that's it, Sean. You're right. It is the Hawkeyes. But let us move over to the live scene really quick. Sorry if you guys are hearing it here. Of course, this is not ready for some reason, but it is what it is. Let's go to browser properties and let's go to the Twitter Jerry West voicemail. So if you guys can, we're going to hear about this. I mean, this is Jerry West on that voicemail, if we remember the Donald Sterling incident. But let's listen in to what Jerry West had to say in this voicemail.
Excuse me, this is Jerry calling. I really want to thank you a lot for, trying to help. I heard this morning that everyone over in the Lakers camp think they're going to get him. I find that hard to believe that he would want to go to that shit show where he would not even wouldn't get his name in the paper, and he wouldn't be the face of the franchise, that's for sure. He might be the best player on the team, but hope things are well, and again, I really, really appreciate everything you've done. I'll keep you apprised of what goes on, but I do want to get together with you privately and love to take you to dinner and even Sam if he's around, so I can at least pay my respects to you guys for being so generous and helpful. Take care. Talk to you sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, everyone. So I just had to mute because my headphones are not working right now, and I don't want the sound to play into the microphone as well. But let's talk about this. Jerry West calling the Lakers a crap show, to put it kind of in a more PG way here on the Charge. And it is kind of some damning evidence, really. I mean, if we think about it, right? It does sound like Jerry West. I mean, obviously, it's alleged, so we have to put allegedly. But it is a very interesting thing. So let's read what the TMZ article, because this was first reported by TMZ. So the man suing Jerry West and the Clippers for his alleged role in landing Kawhi Leonard says West left him voicemail message in 2019 acknowledging their relationship and trashing the Lakers in the process. Johnny Wilkes tells TMZ West left a voicemail for him on July 1st, 2019, around 2 p.m., expressing the concern that Kawhi Leonard could choose the Lakers over the Clippers. Wilkes says in the same message, Jerry thanked me for all the efforts in getting Kawhi to sign with the Clippers. TMZ obtained the voicemail in which the man who sounds like West says, "Hey there, this is Jerry West calling. I really want to thank you for trying to help. I heard this morning that everyone over the Lakers camp thinks they're going to get him. I just find it hard to believe that they would want to go to that blank show where he would not even wouldn't even be the name of the paper and wouldn't even be the face of the franchise, that's for sure. He might be the best player on the team, but hope things are well. And again, I really appreciate everything that you've done." And so the man believed to be West is seemingly referring to the fact that LeBron James and the Lakers has zero shot that Kawhi would take over him as the face of the franchise. And I think this just kind of goes to show you kind of how the Clippers operated. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous. I think that when we look at the story as a whole, it is frustrating, I would say, as someone who's kind of looking at this. Jerry West being the logo, being the NBA poster boy, literally, as Sean said in his comments, and also kind of a Lakers legend, right? I mean, he was literally there as a Laker. He lost so many NBA finals and then won some NBA finals. I mean, there's a lot of history between Jerry West and the Lakers, and I just don't know how this is going to go with Lakerland. I mean, Jerry West obviously being the logo, being well-respected around the league, but definitely this could be a sign of a little bit of disrespect to his former club that he played for. And I just think that at the end of the day, it's just not a good look for Jerry West and the LA Clippers. The LA Clippers are now seen as kind of this dirty team now who just does a lot of alleged things. I mean, we had the story yesterday about Uncle Dennis asking for a lot of things, asking for houses, for yachts. I mean, it just seems that the Clippers organization just kind of doesn't respect the process of getting these free agents. While the Lakers, who have done this since, I can't even remember how long, since they got Kareem, even then, Kareem joined them, or he was already on the team. Signing guys like Shaq to come to their team. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, Jerry West needs to look at himself in the mirror and realize, look, man, this is a bad look for us. I mean, this is probably what is standard procedure in the NBA, to be honest with you. I have no doubt in my mind that NBA players, this is how you get them. This is how you get them to sign on to the team, right? It's just one of those things where if I was a Lakers fan, I'm a little bit frustrated that my Larry Legend would try and do that to me. But as a Clippers organization, I mean, now you're kind of being exposed as an organization that kind of does things behind the scenes, doesn't really do them up front. And so now the NBA might take some action against you. I mean, this to me is like at least a couple first-round picks worthy of taken away from them. I mean, they traded away so many just to get Paul George anyway. So, I mean, could this be a retroactive ban to their first-round picks in the future, like way far out? Like, by the time that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are done playing for the LA Clippers, could those draft picks just be gone for them? I mean, that's a serious conversation and a serious topic to be had. And I just think that this is just kind of a very sad state of affair if I am the LA Lakers and also the LA Clippers. Because, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where you hope it wasn't true. You believe that it wasn't true. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're hearing the voicemails and it's true. I mean, it's one of those things that, like I said, I would be very frustrated if I was the LA Lakers. And if I'm the LA Clippers, your draft picks are probably in jeopardy right now. I mean, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys make of the story? I mean, this to me, like I said, is a very interesting one. It's one that I would say is going to cause a lot of stir and a lot of animosity if I'm a Lakers fan, and also as a Clippers fan. I mean, now you're seen as a dirty team, and just not for the right reasons, right? I mean, you're a dirty team in terms of doing transactions, getting all this other stuff done. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, we'll talk about the James Harden thing. We got Giannis and Luka tied for franchise pick as to who their number one guy would be. So we'll talk about that as well. But yeah, man, it's one of those things where it's a little bit disappointing if I am the LA Clippers and also the NBA too. You know, the thing that the NBA wants is parity. I think, you know, you want to see. The first and foremost, the NBA wants to make money. So, you know, LeBron James going to LA and, you know, Kawhi Leonard going to LA as the Clippers, you know, kind of that rivalry of LA, you know, brotherly love. You know, I think that's what a lot of teams, a lot of people want to see. They want to see that rivalry between the two. But what people don't want to see is that it's done in an illegal means, right? Where you're promising different things to the Uncle Dennis, where you're doing different things that causes, you know, Uncle Dennis to be like, you know, why should, you know, we need to step away from this. This is going to be a little dangerous. And, you know, Uncle Dennis just keeps persisting and keeps prodding. And I feel like that's kind of what happened last night, or that's what happened in the charges. You know, Johnny Wilkes, you know, wants his money. He says that, look, I've done everything I can for this franchise. I've given you Kawhi Leonard. I've given you all these types of players. And then at the end of the day, I'm rewarded with nothing. I'm rewarded with sort of bad, you know, I'm rewarded with no money and a snooze you lose type of deal. So, you know, at the end of the day, it is a damning piece of evidence, I would say, if I am the LA Lakers, or if I'm the Clippers, I should say, because I think at the end of the day, the Clippers are looked at now as a dirty team. And we'll see what happens from here, man. Like, it's going to be a very interesting scenario as it pertains to what's going to be going on for the LA Clippers. I mean, like I said, their draft picks could be in serious jeopardy. You know, they've already traded so many away. And now we're going to see if... We're going to see if those draft picks in the future, when Kawhi Leonard and all them are done playing, we'll see if that's going to be a situation. So, you know, at the end of the day, not really the best look, I would say, but you know what? I mean, if you land your player, you take it, right? I mean, it's the same thing with Bogdan Bogdanovic. I mean, I would have taken the tampering charges if I know that I'm going to get Bogdan Bogdanovic on my team. If I have to sacrifice a pick or two for it, then so be it. So we'll see if the NBA is going to be kind of coming down on them. Obviously, this is incriminating evidence, but will it be enough evidence for the NBA to be like, yes, this is a definite tampering charge. You are definitely going to be taking away some draft picks. I mean, that's going to be the biggest question mark, I think, for a lot of NBA fans is, you know, with these tampering charges coming in here now, like, what's going to happen to the LA Clippers? Are they going to lose Paul George? Is Paul George going to be forced to get traded? Is Kawhi Leonard going to be forced to get traded? That, to me, would be a very interesting scenario if the NBA is going to force these teams to trade away star players. But let's talk about now kind of the Houston Rockets and James Harden and kind of the deal that they want to do. But let me drink a little water first. And again, guys, if you're just joining us, we just got done talking about the LA Clippers Jerry West exposed video. We listened to the voicemail, so if you guys want to kind of rewind it back a little bit in this live stream, you can, and then catch up with us when you catch up live. But if you're watching it kind of post live commentary, man, like, this is just some damning evidence. And It does sound like Jerry West, if I'm not mistaken. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see if Jerry West gets in trouble. We'll see if the Clippers even get in trouble. The NBA has been kind of lenient on these type of tampering charges. I mean, actually, to be fair, they were a little bit harsh with LeBron James, Anthony Davis on live TV. So, it's going to be an interesting scenario to see whether or not any real tampering charges are going to come against the team. But at the end of the day, let's see what's going on here in the James Harden news. And as it pertains to James Harden, we see that James Harden has opened up trade discussions between the two teams of the 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. Actually, it's gone beyond that, actually, and it's gone to more teams. More teams are being comfortable with trading Harden without assurance that he would commit long-term. I mean, look here, man. Like, I think James Harden is going to put butts in seats, and I think he's going to be a player that a lot of teams are going to love to have, but at the same time, if he's not committed to you, if you're not a championship contending team, then why does he want to even sign with you? I mean, that's kind of the thing where if I'm the 76ers or if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, why would I want to trade all my assets for James Harden? He's shown time and time again, and I know this is kind of another James Harden bashing video, but he's shown time and time again that he's not committed fully to getting to be the best player. I mean, he won the MVP one year. It was fine. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I won my MVP. Why should I even try again? And that to me is frustrating if I'm a Lakers fan and more so a fan of James Harden, also a fan of the Rockets. I mean, or even a fan of any of these teams that are thinking about trading for him. Like, if I'm you, I'm probably not making any type of notoriety or any move for James Harden if I don't get commitment and assurances that he's going to play his best and, work out with the team. Like, if something doesn't go, like, that's the thing. The Rockets gave James Harden everything. Literally gave him the big man that he wanted. Gave him the point guard that he wanted. Gave him the coach that he wanted. And they still couldn't win. And when the going gets tough, James Harden decides to kind of fall back a little bit, go to the strip club, enjoy his wings, enjoy the ladies of the night, and then, it's like the same old. It's like, James Harden is, 31 years old right now? I mean, not saying that, when you're 31, you gotta be serious, you gotta be, like, straight edge and all this other stuff. But what it shows me is that it's a little bit immature, right? Because the way that he's going about not joining the Houston Rockets in preseason, the way that he's going about not joining the team, it's one of those things where I think he needs to do a much better job of, owning the room and owning the situation at hand, right? Because at the end of the day, what's going to be happening here is that, James Harden's not going to, why should I respect James Harden for not really, respecting me or respecting the organization in a way that really matters? I mean, James Harden is going to do his thing. He's going to get his points. He's going to get his assists. I mean, the James Harden right now, the play isn't bad. It's just like what it shows me from his body and also kind of the body language is that the commitment there, although might be high, it's still one of those things where, like, you're not showing me fully. Like, I feel like you're maybe 60 or 70% in and 30% out. I mean, you're going to the strip club, you're getting, you're going with the little baby, and I know that's an old story, and that's kind of something not to beat a dead horse on. But what is frustrating to me is that it kind of shows the lack of immaturity as it pertains to James Harden. So, I mean, let me know in the comment section down below, like, do you guys think that James Harden will remain on the Houston Rockets by the time the season starts? Because to be honest with you, I just don't see it. I think he's going to get traded away, but the question is going to be, in my opinion, what team is going to want to trade him? I mean, let's look at the teams in the NBA right here. I mean, we got the Boston Celtics. I don't think they should trade for him. I think that'd be a disastrous move. You already got rid of a guy like Kyrie. James Harden, to me, is kind of the exact same player. So why would I want him there? Brooklyn, maybe with the toxicity levels of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, maybe adding James Harden could balance everything. But we'll see about that. The Knicks, I mean, if they want star names, you might as well trade away some of your young assets and get him. But, why would I want to do that? I don't want a Carmelo 2.0 where you trade away everything. You trade away the kitchen sink and are left with nothing, and you kind of sucked for the last couple years now. The 76ers, I don't think so. I think that... it makes the most sense out of all these teams, but I'm not really too sure about that. The Raptors, I could see it happening in the Raptors. I'm not sure if the Raptors would also be, like, to be honest with you, like, if I was one of these teams, why would I even want him? Because he's shown that he's not going to be committed. Like, he's shown that, like, he's a great player. He's going to do great things, but at the same time, I'm just not seeing the commitment that I'm getting from these other players. Meanwhile, James Harden's going out to the strip club, basically every night. I mean, I believe there's a stat. Let me see if I can find it. Where for every strip club that he visits, he, depending on, how the star rating of the strip club, that's how well he plays. So if it's a 2-star one, he's not going to play very well in that city. But if it's a 5-star one, he's going to play A1. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where, I just don't know why any of these teams would want him. I mean, we can kind of keep going down the list. Anybody in the Central Division, I don't think so. I think James Harden wants to just get out of Houston. I think he preferably wants to be more in a state where it's open, because obviously not a lot of states are allowing the strip club to be open. So I think that he's probably preferring a place where that business is open. So I don't think it's going to be any of kind of the West Coast teams, because those places are closed right now. Honestly, I think Houston, maybe the like I said, it's just one of those things where I just don't see him fitting on any other team besides the Houston Rockets, because his game is so different. It's so unique that I don't think any of these teams want to play that same type of style. I don't think that Mike D'Antoni's coaching anywhere. He might actually. You know what? I think he is. He's coaching in Brooklyn. Mike D'Antoni. Yeah, so D'Antoni is with Steve Nash in Brooklyn. So, I mean, that might make more sense. But at the same time, I'm not sure if that's the move that Brooklyn wants to go in, because you're going to have to give up a star player. And to be honest with you, maybe you do get rid of Kyrie Irving and put in James Harden. Kyrie Irving's kind of excited. He's happy. And then all of a sudden he gets traded away. I mean, that would be kind of a sad state of affairs. But we'll see. But yeah, I just don't see another team where he fits very well and can actually do his thing and maybe win a championship with him. I just don't see it. No, the rumors were the Miami Heat. I think that's kind of something that a lot of people talked about. We talked about here. James Harden added the Bucks and the Heat to the trade list. I mean, let me ask you guys in the comment section down below, if you guys are live with me in the chat. I see 6 of you in here. What do you guys make of that? Do you guys think that James Harden would be a good fit in Miami, or do you think he'd be a good fit with the Milwaukee Bucks? Like I said, you trade one away your star players, then I just don't see how it works between James Harden and Giannis. I don't see how it works between James Harden and Jimmy Butler. This to me, let's talk about this story. I forgot to talk about it, and I just think it's some serious propaganda from Zach Lowe. This to me is kind of one of the craziest, kind of cringiest stories to me. This is, of course, coming from December 12th, so it was about last week. The Miami Heat have emerged as trade potential for James Harden, and Zach Lowe said this in his podcast. Here's the bottom line, Zach Lowe said on his podcast. I'm not sure any substantial talks have happened between any teams at this point. Let me make this clear. I do think that Tyler Hero as a single trade piece trumps anything the Nets can offer now. Whether it trumps the Nets throwing every pick and every swap and doing the same thing they did for the Celtics except with better players in this prime, that's to be determined. But I think Hero is a more valuable trade piece than Caris LeVert and anything the Nets can offer. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I know that Tyler Hero's good. I know that he had this kind of magical season, but I think Brad kind of said it best, and he kind of woke me up to it, is that he wasn't playing like this during the regular season before the pandemic hit, right? This was more when he was in the bubble. This is more so, we didn't see this before. And, Sean, I do think that he's a little overrated. I do think that the way that people view him as sort of this next superstar is a little ridiculous at this point. I think he's good. I think he's a great player. He's a great for what he does in his role. But at the same time, I'm not sure if this is kind of the role or the situation that that I like seeing, right? This is definitely not. I just think that Tyler Hero needs a little bit more time to grow and develop. He still hasn't fully developed his whole game yet. In some instances in the playoffs, especially in the finals, he got exposed, he got cooked, and there was a reason why he had probably one of the worst plus minus in NBA history, if I'm not mistaken, or he was close to it. And so, we got to kind of slow down the brakes on this Tyler Hero mania story, because like I said, he's a good player. I'm not going to deny that he doesn't have the ability to play. But at the same time, I think, Sean, you are right. So I just think that, he still needs time to grow and develop. He's only a rookie, for Christ's sake. I mean, let's give the kid a little bit of time before we start crowning anybody. I know that people can say that about me saying this about LaMelo Ball and how I think he could be a potential future superstar. But I've seen a lot more out of Alonzo, in my opinion, than I do of Tyler Hero. I mean, Tyler Hero does a lot of great things. I'm not going to deny Tyler Hero's ability. But I just think that Zach Lowe and everybody at ESPN is just kind of overhyping the Tyler Hero train, where I don't think it necessarily needs to be at this point. Sean, you say he's a good player who got lucky and ended up on a team on the final. Yeah, I mean, like, to be honest with you, I mean, the Celtics were looking at him, and I mean, if he ended up on the Celtics, he would be where the Celtics are now, and that's, at home chilling while they're playing in the finals. So, it is about what team you play for, but I do think that he will be a great player under Eric Spoelstra. I think that he's kind of shown that his game is, it's good, and I think that he can develop a stronger game as he continues to, like I said, become a better player, grow and develop, and do many other things like that. But at the same time, it's about the process of getting there, and I just think right now we're jumping too far ahead. And I do think that Caris LeVert at this point is better than Tyler Hero. Like Caris LeVert is going to be healthy. I think that's the thing. We get blinded by prisoner of the moment spotlights, right? When it comes to, LaMelo Ball, for me, like, I'm prisoner of the moment right now. His preseason games have been tremendous. I mean, the last 3 games, he's gained more and more confidence. He's getting more and more points. He's getting more and more rebounds, a little more and more turnovers. But, with Tyler Hero, it was kind of the same thing. I mean, let's look at Tyler Hero's stats from last season, right? So Tyler Hero, not the Snarl. I mean, the Snarl is what kind of got him. But let's look at his stats really quick on Basketball Reference, right? So last season he played about 55 games and started 8, right? So, so by the time the season started, he's only played like 55 games. He was hurt. Let me see if they have his injury report on here. Let me see here. I don't think they have his injury history, but they might. Let's see here. Drafted. I don't believe that they do have his injury history on here, but I believe he was hurt for quite some time. So to be honest with you, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I want to see a little bit more growth. I want to see a little bit more development from a guy like Tyler Hero. Like I said, he's going to be a great player. I don't deny it. But I think we're rushing too much into the Tyler Hero train. And I think that Zach Lowe is starting this propaganda that is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look, Tyler Hero's a great player, but I do think that Spencer Dinwiddie and Caris LeVert are much better players at this point in their career than Tyler Hero is right now. Doesn't mean that Tyler Hero can't get there and go beyond. But right now, I just don't think Tyler Hero single-handedly gets you James Harden by himself. Like, you're going to have to give a lot more than just Tyler Hero to the Houston Rockets to trade away James Harden. Like, you're going to have to give away draft picks. You're probably going to have to give away some of your other role players on your team. Maybe Kendrick Nunn, maybe, Goran Dragic. I mean, just a lot more players. You do have to give those up. And I just don't think that right now is kind of a situation where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm chilling with just these guys. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. But like I said, I don't think that Tyler Hero is even worth the same amount as a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie or Caris LeVert at this point in their career. Like I said, Tyler Hero in the right system can grow and develop, and I think that he should stay in Miami and grow and develop as a player. I mean, unless the trade offer is too crazy where you just have to only give up Tyler Hero, then maybe you do it. If you're the Houston Rockets, if you're the Houston Rockets, if that's all you can get for him, then yeah, sure. But I think the Houston Rockets can get a lot more out of him. Can get a lot more out of the league than just Tyler Hero at this point. So, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys make of this story? I know we kind of went on a side tangent from the Zach Lowe. Well, we did read the article from Zach Lowe, or kind of his podcast Cliff Notes, and just kind of compared the two. But let me know in the comment section down below, or let me know in the live stream if you're with me live, what you guys make of this Tyler Hero story. Because to be honest with you, I just don't see it. Like, I think he's a good player. I think he could do some good things for you. But at the same time, I'm not convinced that he's the one that you should be going after as sort of just a single trade for just James Harden swap for Tyler Hero. Like, I just don't see that. But let's continue looking on here. Other big news, we have Jeremy Lin. He's officially back in the NBA as he signed a 10-day contract with the Golden State Warriors. So he won't be live with the Golden State Warriors roster, but we'll be getting into the Santa Cruz system to kind of get there in time. Hey, Tyrese, how you doing, man? So Jeremy Lin will be returning. We'll see if the Golden State Warriors give him a chance of being a rotation guy on the bench. But hopes are very slim, 10-day contracts, depending on what the situation is for the Warriors. We'll see here. He's a decent player, but he won't be a Clay. Are you talking about Jeremy Lin, or are you talking about Tyler Hero, Tyrese? Let me just make sure we don't have any other type of news and rumors from ESPN or anything like that. While you tell me more about who this player is. Let's see here. NBA. We got the Rockets expanding that trade talk. We're going to see a very peculiar situation. Tyler Hero. Yeah, I think he'll be a good player. I just don't think he's going to be that, I don't know, with Zach Lowe and Brian Windhorst and all these guys on ESPN, the lame interns that they have. Look, dude, let's not be cheap. Okay, maybe I'm taking cheap shots at the interns, but I think that they overhype guys like Tyler Hero just because he's different. Obviously he's white, so I think that's kind of also a factor into it as well. And we don't really see that many white NBA players. Maybe Caruso is kind of an exception as well. I kind of get the notoriety, but at the same time, I just don't see, with Tyler Hero, I don't see that Klay Thompson or even close to it as a level that he can go to, right? I feel like the Clippers, we'll see what happens. There might be another voicemail, Tyrese, if you're talking about Harden to the Clippers. There might be that voicemail that Jerry West sends to them and seeing if they can get it. It's just going to be an interesting situation. But let's kind of look over here. Looking at this, I believe that the NBA approves of Ryan Smith as the new owner of the Utah Jazz. So the Utah Jazz, let me give you a little backstory. I grew up in the city of Salt Lake. I grew up maybe 20, 30 minutes away from the actual city itself. And Larry H. Miller and the Miller family was kind of a big deal there. They had a lot of car lots. They basically owned everything. I'm not sure what Mr. Miller did, but I know he had a ton of money. He had a lot of movie theaters. He had so much things. And now we're seeing that it's going to be officially, and Tyrese, we'll get back to the Clippers and James Harden in just a second, but it's going to be a weird thing to see that there's going to be a new owner in Salt Lake City. So we have here that months before he agreed to purchase the Utah Jazz for $1.66, Ryan Smith, who was formally approved by the NBA Owners Board of Governors, said that he was really close to making a bid to buying the Minnesota Timberwolves. We see that Smith made his fortune in a Utah-based tech firm with several detailed discussions with the Timberwolves owner Glenn Taylor last winter. Was serious and considered the next step of his wife, voiced her objection. With my wife, something wasn't right. She put her foot down. She told ESPN, she was like, you know what? You're a Jazz fan, right? That's what we do. I'm not moving. So she put her foot down. So it looks like the wife made the decision for the man here. You know what? Sometimes you do have to listen to the wife there. Listen to your girlfriend or whatever, your preference is. But it's looking like he's going to be a Jazz fan. So that's going to be a kind of interesting thing. We're going to see what Ryan Smith is going to bring to the team. Let's see here. He's going to approach Gail Miller, who owned the Jazz for 35 years now, potentially buying a share of the team. He initially rebuffed when re-engaged in discussions over the summer and worked out a deal to buy the Jazz, along with Vivid Arena, the team G League affiliate, and the AAA Salt Lake City Bees. There we go. I remember the Bees, man. That was the only baseball in town in Salt Lake City. They used to be called the Stingers. But now they're called the Bees. That's just, this is just kind of Utah nerd history for you right here. It's going to be a weird thing to see, like I said, if you're from the city of Utah, if you're from the Salt Lake City area, or if you know anything about the Utah Jazz in Utah, at least I know they were in New Orleans at one point. It's definitely a weird feeling to see that, a different family, a new age owner is going to own the Utah Jazz, right? Because for many years, it was always Larry H. Miller, the Miller family, just owning the Utah Jazz and owning that team. So we'll see, what it's going to be. They're going to remain in Utah with, I don't see them moving at all. I think the Utah fan base actually loves their basketball. It's the only thing I feel like besides the Utah BYU rivalry there, the only professional team really, I guess two now, if you want to count the MLS, is the Utah Jazz. I mean, they were kind of the number one show in town before the MLS came in there. So, it's going to be an interesting scenario to see whether or not, Smith can do the right job, can do the right thing. It's going to be cool to see, Donovan Mitchell kind of interact with him and see like what's going to go on. Is he going to be a hands-on owner? Is he going to be a hands-off owner? That's going to be kind of the more curious situation as it pertains to the Utah Jazz. Seems like he's a big Jazz fan, so that could either be a negative or a positive on how you look at it. Could be blindly have blind faith to a player, could have blind faith to a team. So I'm hoping that he looks at it smart and more analytically than I think a lot of us are going to give him credit for. But, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of this Utah Jazz owner moving in and buying the Utah Jazz over the Larry H. Miller family, or Gail Miller, the wife of Larry H. Miller, who I believe passed away recently. So, we'll see. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys make of that story. But let's move on to what Tyrese was talking about. And of course, that is the Rockets expanding their trade talks. So, Tyrese, you said that they could be going into to be the Clippers. I mean, the thing is, like, what do the Clippers have really to offer that you could want? I mean, the only thing I could see is, like, you trade away Paul George. You sign Paul George to an extension and then you just trade him away. I could see that being the case. But other than that, I really don't see any type of real big move, I should say, from the Clippers, because they can't offer anything else. Like, you either offer Kawhi or you offer Paul George, because you can't offer draft picks. You can't really offer much. So, I would love to know what you guys think about this, Tyrese. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that he's a good player. I think that he could do a really good job, but at the same time, I'm just not convinced. I'm really not convinced at this point. So you're going to have to let me know in the comment section down below what do you guys make of this story. Because like I said, James Harden, as much as he is a great player, he's very toxic. He doesn't add much to the team in terms of camaraderie. He's a great on the court. He's great. But I think off the court is where he causes some issues. And I just think that this latest stint that he pulled just kind of goes to show you that he's more of a deflector than a person that takes on the responsibility, right? Because I want my players in the gym each and every day. Like, look at LeBron James, look at Kawhi Leonard, look at many of these, some players I believe go to the strip club. I'm not gonna say that they don't, but LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, those two, Giannis even, I mean, obviously those guys have families, they have young children, and I believe James Harden doesn't. So, I mean, let me know in the comment section down below if I'm wrong on that. But it's one of those things where I feel like if he, you're 31 years old now, it's time to grow, it's time to develop and win that championship. I mean, what strives James Harden? That's the question that I want to ask him, is like, what strives him to want to be the best player? What strives him to being, wants to being the number one contending team, in the league? So, we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, I'm not too convinced, that any team is really going to want him. The 76ers have to trade away Ben Simmons if they're going to even acquire him. The Brooklyn Nets, I don't even know what they need to do. They need to go basically the whole farm just to get him. Like, it's just going to be a lot, and we'll see if he just stays a free agent, or goes the whole season, becomes a free agent, and that's the move that they go, or, we'll see if they kind of go the opposite way and just not do that. But, we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comment section down below what do you guys make of this NBA story. It's a very interesting one. And let's go to Hoops Hype and see if there's any type of situation here. We got sneaker deals. Let's see here. I don't know if there's any. Gary Trent Jr. going to sign with Adidas. I believe that's really it. I mean, Trae Young, probably going to be. So there was some discussion on calling his signature shoe the Ice Tray, his nickname, but Young and Adidas decided against it because he wants to be remembered as Trae Young instead of Ice Tray when his career is over. And Ice Tray might not sound as cool as 20 years from now, his dad said. So, that's kind of a good thing. I mean, I'm glad that, they kind of went more with a... it looks like he is signing a multi-year extension with Adidas for a signature shoe. The Trae Young one is set to arrive in fall 2021. So we'll see what that shoe looks like. I'm kind of curious to see what type of style or silhouette they're going to go with. More of a high top, a low top. It'll be a very interesting kind of sneaker. But I'm glad that he went with a regular name and not like some crazy nickname. I mean, like the only one that I could say that is cool because they're original, right? Like the Iceman, George Iceman Gerving, and Dr. J, and many of these players like MJ, I mean, even though, MJ is not really like, it's, Michael Jordan, basically. What do you think, Sean? What would your signature shoes like? Okay, let's kind of have a little bit of fun here. It's a Friday. Let's have a little bit of fun, lighthearted. We talked about some serious topics already. If you could have a signature shoe, one, what company would you sign with? And two, what would be the nickname of your jersey, or like what would be the nickname of your shoe? Like for me, I think I would sign with Nike because I think Nike has probably the best designers, even though they do copycat a little bit. But I do think that I would call them. What would I call mine? The Charge Ones? No, I'd probably call them like, I don't know, maybe the B-Max. Like, get yourself a pair of the B-Max. I don't know. Maybe that sounds corny too. I don't know. But let me know in the comment section down below. What would you guys think of your? What would your signature sneaker be, and what brand would you sign? Like I said, I would sign with Nike. They have a proven track record, and I just think I think the grip on the shoes is better. The problem with Adidas, and I have a couple pairs of Adidases because they are pretty cool looking shoes, is just the fact that the traction, or sorry, not the traction, but it's the size of the shoe is different in every single model. Sean P 4.3s. Okay, I could see that. All right, getting a little creative here. But yeah, just kind of going back to my Adidas rants. The one thing I don't like about Adidas is just the fact that I believe that their shoes are by Puma. Okay, you would sign with Puma. You and LaMelo Ball, you would have a collab, a Sean P LaMelo Ball collab. Let's see if that'll happen in the future. I'm curious to know if LaMelo Ball would be interested in kind of checking that out. But yeah, the thing with Adidas, I think the sizing is just too inconsistent with me. Like, with my size, it's like I have to go half a size up or I have to go half a size down. It's never consistent. Where I feel like Nike, I feel like, are very consistent throughout the board. Like, I know that LeBron James shoes size are gonna fit me if I go with Giannis, or if I go with I think Paul George signed with but Paul George or whatever sneaker brand it would be. I'd become a Ball brother. Sean Ball. Instead of Sean Paul, you become Sean Ball. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the interesting story. So Trae Young signs a new sneaker deal, extending hit with Adidas. So that's also a very fun one. And that's kind of really it in terms of like the stories from the Hoops Hype. I mean, there's not really much to talk about in that set. They would adopt me. Let's check The Athletic and see if there's any type of stories to kind of talk about besides in the NBA. If not, we'll see here. We talk about some paths to getting there. They kind of do their preview and predictions on some of these players. I don't think that there's any 2020 rumors. This is interesting. It looks like Darren Williams went from basketball to playing to boxing or to MMA. That's interesting. Not really a story to go into. I mean, like maybe in the future, but let's see here. I don't know if there's any other stories here. Let's go to YouTube really quick. I kind of want to see if the 76ers highlights are up, if they have any. Seeing if their first half highlights are in yet. Okay, so it looks like their first half highlights are here. So we're going to watch this really quick and just kind of talk about this. Ben Simmons with a nice finish over Sabonis. Gonzaga got a new player who can immediately make an impact. He graduated high school early. Ben Gregg, top 50 recruit from next year, but now this year. Oh, interesting. We'll have to check out his stuff in a little bit. I just kind of want to watch some 76ers highlights really quick, Sean. But I'm definitely going to check out Ben Gregg once I'm done with this, because I just want to see what Ben Simmons is doing more on the off-ball stuff in turn when it comes to his, ability to make a difference on the offensive side, like even shooting. The one thing that we can talk about a little bit, guys, is that Joel Embiid again got sick, not COVID related, but he is out for, I believe, a couple days. So, this just goes back to kind of the storyline of Joel Embiid can't stay healthy. It gets sick a lot of the times and just can't be on the court. And that's the frustrating thing about Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is going to be 27 years old now. So it's going to be an older Joel Embiid. And it's just kind of one of those things where I'm just like, I need you to take care of yourself, because I think he could have been a tremendously good player. I think he could have been He still is, but I think he could have been even better. With a better nutrition, better diet, I think he could have been an actual great NBA. Could have been a Hall of Fame, by now, honestly, because I think that he was so good that he could have carried the 76ers to the finals. But I just think that there's a lot of or what ifs when it comes to Joel Embiid, and this is just another setback. Hopefully he's not out too long, and hopefully he can rest and recover, but also make sure that he's staying in shape and making sure that he's being active with the team, whether he's there with them or without them. But let's continue watching the highlights. Where do I rank Sabonis? I think he's top. See, the NBA is so different now. I would probably say he's a top 20 big. I mean, let's see here. So let me make a list really quick of bigs that I would like. So I like Embiid, Karl-Anthony Towns. I like Miles Turner more than him. Who else? Forgetting something. I like Vucevic. I like Vucevic over him. Let me see, let's see. I do like Boogie Cousins, so I like Cousins over him. Let's see here. Who else? I mean, I'd probably put him in the top 15, honestly, thinking about it more. I mean, there's so many players now in the league that it's a different type of style now. And I just think that as it pertains to what goes on, I do think that he could be he could be a great player. I think the Celtics should have looked to get him as well. I'm curious to know whether or not he's available for trade. Because I think that the Indiana Pacers like his game. They like what he does. So I just don't see it, in my opinion. In terms of, I don't see them getting rid of him. So I think he's going to stay on there until his contract expires, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be doing much. But it's good to see him healthy again. He does add a different dynamic to the team. Good finish there. Gonna kind of skip the highlight. I mean, Sabonis is just gonna be a walking bucket. Let's see here. Set screen from Tobias Harris with a pick and pop. Again, Ben Simmons not looking too hot right now. I mean, Victor Oladipo, not the best looking shot. We see Ben Simmons out in transition. Believe he got that from Ben Simmons. Ooh, that was a wild one. I mean, look at this. I understand, you want to post up, you have a smaller defender on you, but, Ben Simmons, if you're going to play the guard position, that's just not it. Oh, my God. Come on, Victor Oladipo. You got to make that, man. Seth Curry. Wow, these are highlights. Good pass. Oh my God. This is really the highlights. This is like a snooze fest. I'm already falling asleep. Good steal by Sabonis. Good anticipation. The Indiana Pacers should really take advantage of that. the Pacers really should take advantage of when Sabonis is getting guarded by Dwight Howard. I mean, it's just like, Dwight Howard's going to sit in there, steal by Danny Green. Good steal. Ugh. Let's see this. Set a screen. Let's see here. Sorry if I'm just a little bit quiet. I mean, the only thing I want to kind of notice here is just kind of who was that pass from? Okay, Ben Simmons, not a bad pass. Seth Curry. Yeah, Sean, I do agree with you, though. Like, he's 24 years old. He's still got a lot of time. I mean, he's still got a lot of time to grow and develop as a player. So I do think that he could get, creep up in there. I do think that he is a player that is very underrated in the league. Averaging 18 and 12 before the foot injury. Hopefully those aren't a consistent thing. That's what kind of worries me about Sabonis. But when he's in there, he definitely does make a difference. And it's just like he spaces out the floor, especially if you're going to play Dwight Howard out there. It's just gonna add more spacing to it. And so, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I just don't think that any other Pacers are like in a hurry to get rid of him or a hurry to kind of to sell him on, or it's not sell him on. I'm talking like freaking soccer terms, but I don't think they'll be willing to trade him as much. But we'll see. Like I said, what I'm kind of disappointed in here is just Ben Simmons right now. It's just not a very engaged Ben Simmons, in my opinion. I mean, like he's doing this thing. Like I don't believe that he's not like working hard or anything like that, but there's just certain nuances to his game that he needs to work on. Like half break, Ben Simmons is great, but like there's a reason why he's not involved in the play. I mean, look at this. He's all the way. I mean, I understand this is kind of like a fast break. You're moving in, and then this guy shoots a three. He makes it good, but it's just not. Like half court setting, Ben Simmons is good because he can go downhill. Finishes over the big fella. Yeah, so I mean the first half highlights, not really much to make of it. I mean, it's just kind of it is what it is at this point. Like, I think Ben Simmons isn't a bad player, but at the same time, it's just not one of those like I don't know. I'm not really convinced, but I do agree with you, Sean, that Sabonis. Oh, Marcus, you're in the chat. Sorry, Marcus. I should have my Facebook stuff up. So glad you're watching, Marcus. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Who do you? So hopefully, Marcus, you check out I should really check out the Facebook because I can have the YouTube one on here. On the screen. But yeah, I mean, like, I just don't know what team wants him at this point. I just think that the culture that he sets for anybody is just not really it's not inducive to any team wanting that type of player who's like, you've already given him everything, right? You've given him the coach, you've given him the player, you've given him basically everything besides like ownership of the franchise, and it's still not enough for him. He calls your franchise toxic. I mean, is that something that you want to be blamed for? I mean, like, let's say, 20 years down the line, he doesn't win a championship. Is that the excuse he's going to use as to why he didn't win a championship? That, the culture was toxic? So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not entirely convinced at this point. But, it is what it is at this point. But let me see here really quick, making sure that everything is going good on my end. All right, perfect. Making sure everything's going live or going good on my end on this side. But yeah, I mean, that's that's kind of an interesting situation. I mean, like I said, the first half highlights, not really convinced with Ben Simmons. But, Sean, let's go check out Ben Gregg. You're the guy you're trying to get me here. See, this is Ball is Life. Let's see here. Ball is Life. Man, get out of here, Ball is Life. So I'm assuming this is Ben Gregg. Sean, can you confirm that this is Ben Gregg? Let me just double check. Let's double check that this is Ben Gregg here. 4-star recruit, number 1 in Oregon, number 15 as a power forward. A hard commit. He committed. Ooh, just last week. I mean, he got a visit, went to Virginia Tech, offer from Virginia Tech, Arizona offered. All right, so Ben Gregg is looking like he's going to be an enticing player. So let's kind of watch this highlight, kind of see what he's going to be doing here. All right, come on. Oops. No, I'm going to make that super big. All right, so he's in the check his scouting profile. Okay, let's check his scouting profile really quick. I mean, 6'8", 210, class of 20. Well, he's going to be in this class now. So, interesting. Okay. Let's kind of look at the full list of teams that we're offering. So, Texas didn't offer... let's see, offered. So all these teams offered except for Pepperdine, Stanford, and Texas at the time. So we saw Wazoo offer. We saw Virginia Tech offers. USC offered. Texas Tech offered. Well, Texas, I guess, offered again. Portland State, obviously Portland, Oregon State, Oregon, Eastern Washington, California, Arizona, and Gonzaga. All committed to him. See, the thing is, I don't want to watch the highlights on this thing. You know, 247 Sports is just kind of a gimmick. I mean, you're basically just going to get the same that we were just watching. Yeah, this is what I get when I watch highlights. Just this. So we're going to just watch. I mean, he was playing in this game that I was watching, so we'll just kind of watch here. I don't know, whoever filmed this is, I mean, let's see if we can just find, like, another... We looked at that day 1 matchup between Clackamas and Crater. All right, this is a little bit better. So, that's him right there, I believe. Yeah, so that's Ben Gregg. So we'll just watch this a little bit, Sean. Let me just do this really quick. Sweet, my headphones are there now. So we can listen to it a little bit now.
He left this year in Nexon over Barlow. They came back from 12 down.
Alrighty, let's see here.
And then their only double-digit finish, win or lose, was
not a bad pass. I think I'd rather have him finish on that one, but
a second home over the last few days for the Oregon State coach and Dana Altman. Ryan
runs
Lewis
the floor pretty well.
Guarded by Micah Garrett,
you know,
drops it off. Good choice.
A point guard's favorite big is the one that, you know, cuts the, or, you know, runs end to end, kind of running down the court because it's an easy pass to dump off.
Kind of vocal leader, heart and soul of the team, gets the first bucket of the game for West Linn. Ben Gregg frustrated that he couldn't finish with an and one.
What we were hoping to see from Ben Gregg against a smaller West Linn team.
See if he can add anything to his game here. So he shoots out here. Good
You know,
pass.
Trying to guard two guys at once almost.
That guy need to
Ryan
finish. I
Lewis
mean, obviously, you
here
know,
in no small part
you're
because
talking
of
about
Ben
a
Gregg,
college
who won the
prospect versus just a
Consolation
regular.
Championship for them. A young
You know,
team
does a
trying
good.
to
I mean, I think he
attack
could
for
just
the
stand
first
there.
time in
Doesn't have to
years at the
necessarily
6A
foul.
level
Good
is
pass.
huge for them.
You know, he's
Ryan
kind of,
Lewis
you know,
has been
just
a
watching
good
his pass
complement
there.
all
It's just
coming
kind
into
of.
this tournament. They won two
I
of
think that he could be not like a Jokic build, but more so like definitely a big that you want on your team, right? He's initially looking for the pass. I mean, the thing is that his jumper is good enough to where I think he's going to be respected out in the 3-point line. You know, finishing around the rim, I'll still have to watch a little bit more of this film, but what I like so far is just the passing and the ability to create the ability to pass it in angles that are tight, and being able to find those passing angles. Because for bigs, sometimes, you know, they kind of get stuck in that I'm not going to get the ball very often, so I'm not going to pass the ball. So I do think that this is a good thing. Let me turn down the volume a little bit here. I mean, the only thing is I believe he's 6'8", so that's the only I would say that's the only issue. Not saying that a 6'8" player can't be successful in the NBA, but the problem is that he plays a big, and I don't think he's going to be handling the rock anytime soon. So, you know, they're running the zone against him. I mean, they need to stop running this the zone against him. Can run the floor pretty well. I like that. I think he could have done a better job there of stopping and like finishing around the rim. Good pass. I like his game, Sean. I think he could be like he just seems like a Gonzaga player, to be honest with you. He gives off that Gonzaga vibe, just like, you know, hard nosed, like very coachable. I think Mark Fuse could really do a great number with him. He does, you know, maybe not like Drew Timme, but I do think that he's kind of got that vibe of like he's gonna do a great job. You know, kind of trying too many flashy things. This is from 2019. So this is from basically like a year ago. So maybe he's gotten a lot better. I don't know if he's playing on an AAU team right now or anything like that. I can take a look and seeing if he does play anywhere. I could see, let me check to see if there's any anything recently. You know, committed to whoever this guy is, the Schultz. I want to see if there's anything recently. I don't think there's anything recent, to be honest with you. Yeah, there's like no real yeah, because I don't think he's played since. I mean, that's from 2019. That's where that game's from. So, you know, Sean, I do like his game. I think he's a very interesting player. The question for me for him is going to be like, you know, can he add the dribble moves? Can he add kind of putting the ball on the ground? You know, at 6'8", you're definitely going to be asked to put the ball on the ground. You're going to be definitely asked to be a power forward in the next, like if he decides to go to the NBA, if that's kind of his vision. But, you know, he does look like a great player. I believe that, you know, it would have been fun to kind of go to Oregon and try and play him. But yeah, I mean, this kid looks like he's the real deal, man. I mean, we'll see like what happens as it pertains to a season, hopefully in kind of the Seattle area. Gonzaga's already listing him at 6'10". Lol. He's got that what's his name? They got that Jason Tatum effect, right? Giving him the extra 2 inches to make him 6'10". But yeah, I mean, like he seems like a good player. Like I think that he could be a definitely solid Gonzaga piece for you guys. You know, depending on what happens with some of your bigs. I know you're losing some good players. You know, some of your 4-year guys are now leaving. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I think this is going to be a fun year for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And I think, guys, that is going to do it here for the Charge. Thank you once again for joining me here. You know, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Marcus, for joining me here live. I'm sorry I didn't check my Facebook. So I apologize for that, Marcus. Hopefully you're enjoying your time. I know you got your wisdom teeth pulled out, so let me know how that goes. But yeah, I mean, that's going to do it here for the Charge. Again, guys, thank you once again for joining here. We are about less than 300 subscribers away, man. So if you guys can hit that subscribe button on the Charge, Let me pull up the kind of the logo gimmick so you guys can see. We're here on the Charge. The Charge Stream on Twitter, Charge Stream on Instagram, and then of course we are on Twitch as well. If you guys want to look it up on Twitch, we are live here as well. Let me make sure the Twitch podcast. Yeah. So we are live on Twitch as well. If you guys are interested in Twitch as well. Oh, whoops. Let me just mute myself here. Hey Chris, how's it going? We're just about to end the show. But yeah, we are live on Twitch. It is called the Charge Podcast. So if you guys are wanting to follow on Twitch, you can follow there as well. But anyway, guys, this is going to do it here for the Charge. Again, thank you once again for joining me here. Thank you to all the fans or to all the people that joined here. Whoops. Let me mute this really quick. Yeah, so thank you once again for joining me here. It was a pleasure being on here with you guys. If you guys joined late, kind of watch the stream. We talk about the Clippers. We talked about their little expose. Yep, you just missed it, Chris. I'm sorry, man. But it is what it is. We talked about the Clippers and the tampering allegations. So just kind of get a load of that. We actually listened to the official voicemail from Jerry West, the alleged voicemail from Jerry West. So we'll see what happens there. So check that out if you're interested. But anyway, guys, like I said, thank you once again for joining me here. Again, guys, a special reminder, at 9 a.m. tomorrow, we will be going live here on The Charge. 9 a.m. Pacific time, so that's 12 for you East Coast guys and whatever time it is where you're at. We will be live watching the whatchamacallit. We will be live watching the Iowa-Gonzaga game with my boy Sean here. So if you guys are interested in an early morning Rising game, early morning college basketball game, check us out here on The Charge. Sean will be live with me. We'll be watching the game. We'll see what we like, what we dislike, because I know that Mark Few definitely has some great sets. So PM, shout out to PM as well in the chat. I know that he's a Zags fan. If you guys could see the photo of one of our group, or I believe it's one of our Discord chats. It's him going wild in the NCAA championship game when I believe they played North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, guys, like I said, thank you once again for joining me here on The Charge. Again, giving you the daily NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions Monday through Friday. Times are subject to change, especially on the Tuesdays and Thursdays, as I do have basketball training. But the good news is we don't have it until a couple weeks later. So I am off for the next 2 weeks thanks to school. It kind of feels like I'm back at school again, working out of school, and then you get that Christmas vacation or that holiday vacation off. So, it is what it is. But that's enough of me ranting about things that don't matter. But I'll catch you guys on the next episode of The Charge. Again, guys, it will be tomorrow at 9 p.m. Pacific time, Saturday, Iowa versus Gonzaga. Be there or be square, and we'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Peace.
Gestures of love will serve as my closure. Yeah, on the day when it's over, I don't need nothing to show for. The handshakes, hugs, and gestures of love will serve as my closure. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared the Alien. Thank y'all. Nigga, we did it. We just gonna let this ride out. Peace.
So elementary, y'all know who I am when they mention me. No penny pinching, I came on a mission just to get to the top. Claim my position, I'm number one with no invitation. One-on-one with no imitation. Never know any limitations. You ain't the real, you a simulation. We at the pinnacle, we not identical. I'm trying to rap on the mic like a tentacle. Don't do subliminal, we not no criminal. Body is pure, don't mess with chemicals, nah. This is as pure as it get. I'm about to shine with the glitz. This is a confirmation, no conversation. We the brightest stars in the constellation. That's it. We set the bar high. On top, cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights, looking like a star shot. We set the bar high, on top cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights, looking like a star shot. We set the bar high, on top cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights, looking like a star shot. We set the bar high, on top cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights, looking like a star shot. Let's keep it 1 to 99. You know we busy as grinding time. This not the average phenomenon. We masking up, it's no Comic-Con. I'm used to top ramen noodles, huh? I'm with the picture with poodles, huh? I'm getting rich with my voodoo, huh? I'm at the top, I'm a guru, ah. This is amazing, I came with the made men. Gang up, but we made sense. No hate, cause we make friends. We break bread, then make ends. Breaking into my full potential. Getting love, got good credentials. This is essential and more beneficial. Before you go fight, gotta win in the mental. We set the bar high, on top cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights, looking like a star shot. We set the bar high, on top cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights, looking like a star shot.
Song goes out to all you people obsessed right now with learning IoT, MQTT, home automation, and messing around with that like little $30